What's going on, you guys? Welcome to the Metaverse. And in today's video, I'm just going to go over the three main types of NFTs that you're going to see. There's a lot of different kinds of NFTs. As I said in the very first video, anything from music to movies to anything you can store in a small enough file, you can make into an NFT and get ownership of. But the three most common types you're going to see here on OpenSea are going to be your profile picture NFTs, high art NFTs, and game-related NFTs. Again, that's profile picture NFTs, high art NFTs, and game-related NFTs. And I'm going to go over what each of those means in a second here, but just a quick overview. You've got high art NFTs, which are typically one-of-ones created by high-value artists, and so the value in this art comes from the same place that, say, normal painterly fine art comes from. The actual artist themselves adds value to it because they're, a prestigious artist or something like that. In this case, this is the same exact concept, but with digital art instead of physical art. So owning one of these pieces of art is exactly the same as owning an extremely expensive piece of gallery art that you buy, right, as like a status symbol or out of appreciation for the artist, right? So these are going to tend to be way more expensive ones. These are going to be your extremely rare, extremely valuable pieces of genuine art here. Your profile picture NFTs are going to be your collectibles, your 10,000 runs of characters mainly, profile pictures, your Bored Apes, your CryptoPunks, etc., that kind of thing. You all know what those are, but there's more to them than meets the eye in a lot of ways, where just looking at someone's Twitter profile doesn't, give you the correct idea as to what it means to have that. And then last, but certainly not least, especially recently, is going to be your game-related NFTs. And there are a lot of NFT games out there with a lot of game NFT assets. The number one most talked about, and the one that I'm going to be going over, is definitely Sandbox. Everything is getting Sandbox support. You see NFTs all the time, and one of their main selling points is use our stuff in the Sandbox. Have a Sandbox version of your NFT. Have land in the Sandbox. We've got land in the Sandbox for our project, promote it, all kinds of that kind of thing. So I'll go over why that's important and what that really means for projects as well. So just to get into it here, when you talk about fine art NFTs, generally you're talking about stuff like this. This is a website called Art Blocks, and they'll become relevant in another second here. These are the kinds of generative NFT art that you find a lot of, and generative means that they are randomly generated. They're generated through some program, usually a form of AI is quite popular to use for these. And just so you can see the value of some of this stuff, if you go over here to the OpenSea catalog, Art Blocks Curated, you can see trending collections from Art Blocks Curated here. And these are going to be your very recent trending high art projects, just like I explained, high value artists doing either one-of-ones or really special generative collections. So, any one of these really would probably be pretty popular. Let's see this and flip the price. And there you go. 2,000 Ethereum, 500 Ethereum, 350, 250, 222. I don't know if these are actually going to sell for that much, but some generative art pieces really do. There really are some, art pieces in the fine art NFT world that are worth a few million, like genuinely singular NFTs being worth a few million, that's some downright sensational levels of growth there. Let's see, a more popular one, Chromie Squiggles, is probably up there. Let's see, recently sold 7.9, 8.75, 10. These are not cheap either. As it will be a trend with these. With fine art NFTs, you're going to find they're typically very expensive. What was the highest last sale? 945 Ethereum for one of these. That's nuts, right? But that's the value of fine art. People pay millions of dollars for real fine art to hang up on their wall. This is absolutely no different. These have almost universally no utility. They are exclusively a status symbol. They're for people who understand and can appreciate fine art and the artists behind it primarily. Digital art is no different. Now, on the profile picture ends, you can't talk about NFT profile pictures without mentioning a couple of really big names. CryptoPunks, obviously, almost needs no explanation. They were one of the first projects on the scene, and that historical aspect adds a ton of value to these. They're one of the most appreciated pieces of NFT history, just on any platform, really. These are the kinds of things that people just would die to own, even just as their Twitter profile picture. And because of this, because of their popularity and because of their status especially, these are going to be a lot more expensive than your run-of-the-mill profile picture NFT here. So if we go again, highest last sale, yeah, it's kind of nuts. But that is what having a story, having a history, being an establishing party in this entire space gets you. Because CryptoPunks really is one of the establishing parties. They started the trend that everyone is following right now. And that adds a lot of value. And, hats off to them. They did exactly what they intended to, and they're doing extremely, extremely well because of it. And then the other party that you absolutely cannot talk about profile picture NFTs without mentioning is going to be Bored Ape Yacht Club. And again, this almost needs no explanation. These things sell for millions as well, so I'm not even going to bother going to highest last sale. The more important thing about the Bored Ape Yacht Club is the yacht club aspect, which is a form of utility that they've instilled into this project on the development end, wherein if you own one of these NFTs, not only do you own a unique piece of art, but you basically can use this as your ticket into real life events, real life club meetings with some very, very high names. So with the price of admission on these things comes the attraction of celebrities and people with a lot of money. So your entrepreneurs, your celebrities, your athletes, all of these people are attracted to this project because of the high entry price, and therefore get brought into this community and this network. And the big, big push with Bored Ape Yacht Club is that if you own one of these NFTs, you're right along with them. You can go to the same parties. You can go to the same events in real life. It's, an amazing networking tool for some. It's a great way to just live out your fantasy of meeting your idols. It's a common interest that you have. It's something that you can share. So owning one of these is definitely a very high status symbol in that way, and that's the primary reason why you're going to see a lot more celebrity endorsements now and in the future for these kinds of projects. And just in general, NFTs are getting a lot more of a celebrity presence, a lot more of a mainstream social media presence. And so these profile picture NFTs especially are going to kind of make or break with that, right? Depending on the utility that's added and depending on how into the project these celebrities get, you may see them, far and wide, way, way more widespread than they are right now, even on Twitter, which is definitely where you're going to see the most, generalized, widespread news about these kinds of things and celebrities owning them. And one of the more recent, but definitely not one to leave out of this, just look at that floor price, is the CloneX collection. And this is another kind of mixture of two of the concepts that I touched on earlier, with the fine art being artist-based and this being more art and utility-based. Sometimes you'll see a collection like this, which has kind of a combination of the two. This has a very famous name attached to it, as a famous artist, this, Takashi Murakami, very, very reputable artist on that. And since his name is attached, that intrinsically adds value to this project. Anyone that's a fan of this artist now has this link to this project, and one more reason that they should get involved in it and buy it. And not only that, this project is just super, super cool. I mean, their website is so slick, and the utility that they have planned for this stuff is kind of nuts, honestly. So their big thing here is you get an NFT and a 3D model, and you'll be able to use that model with you get the assets yourself. So any game where you can upload your own assets, you can use this asset in, you know, your chill out VR chat, your creator driven upload games like that. And they're going to be developing their own social space and their own game. I think a lot of projects have games, but whether or not it's going to be a real game is yet to be seen. There's mostly just concepting. But the really cool part is just the production of this. This is such a high effort, high production project, and the site is just so slick and so functional. You get all the roadmap details and whatnot, and if you look here, there we go, the 3D vault. So you actually get the 3D assets that make up your NFT, and you can use them. Just a super, super cool idea, I think. And obviously, you know, 20,000 of these have sold so far at a very, very high floor price. So this is definitely going places for sure. Into game NFTs here, we have the most talked about one as of, I believe, current still. It's the one I hear the most about, especially, is Sandbox. And one of the main things about Sandbox is the ownership of sort of paradoxically real virtual land. So each plot of land in the Sandbox is an NFT in of itself. So ownership of land is basically kind of like getting a deed to a house or just owning a plot of land in real life. You know, you own it. It's your space, right? You have staked a claim to it and it's yours. And so as we'll see here, the same principle applies. You have all of these units, and they are all individually purchasable. And you can see just on these thumbnails that each of these blocks of these units being purchased allows you to basically put whatever you want there. So people shill a lot. People will put their own project there as advertisement. People will put brands and memes and whatever they want. It's their land, right? So a really common tactic in the NFT profile picture scene is to tap into this market here in the gaming scene by, say, buying a plot of land and promoting the project in that plot of land as sort of a show of marketing, basically. So you can see all of this land is owned by all of these different people, projects. You know, it's decentralized. Anyone can own anything as long as they have the capital. So the main draw of the Sandbox is their promise that eventually there will be a full integrated world, basically like a big metaverse type thing, with all of these places either connected or private or however it's set up, you know, with the landowners, and you can go place to place and play games made by these people. So the individual worlds can be full-fledged games is what they're promising here. And everything from the character itself to the clothes they're wearing to the weapons they're using to the land they're on to the games they're playing, all of it has ownership, because it's all NFTs. And that's the big draw of most NFT games, is the integration of NFTs into their asset pool and marketplace. So basically the pitch is, if you integrate yourself into this ecosystem that they're building, you will be able to trade and barter and do things just like you would in real life with these virtual assets that you own because they're NFTs, and you'll be able to make money off of them the same way that you would make money off of, normal trade or being a merchant, in real life. So the plan for that is that you would basically be able to play the game to earn a token that you can then trade for money. And that is the primary draw of most NFT games, and that's why they are most of the time called play to earn, right? Not play to have fun or play to, pay eventually or anything like that. There's obviously the barrier of entry in these is the initial cost of needing to own the assets in order to make any money off of them. But the promise of being able to just play the game and passively generate token that you can use to make real money is very enticing. And this is why we're seeing huge, massive projects that are all in the works right now that involve some kind of NFT marketplace trading system like that. Either GameFi or on Wax or something like that. You're not usually going to see these kinds of things on Ethereum mainnet. And I can make a video that goes deeper into why that is for people that want to know. But basically the deal is that game asset NFTs don't tend to fare very well on mainnet because of the gas fees that tend to affect things like the normal Ethereum trade on OpenSea with profile picture NFTs and art NFTs. Whereas with game assets, obviously that's just not going to fly. Just the nature of them, that's just not going to fly. So they generally will use something else. I think most commonly, at least on Sandbox, they switched to Polygon, I believe. And I can basically just explain that that's because of gas prices. They don't, and just the way the assets function, it's a lot smarter for them to move to Polygon in that way. That's pretty much the three main types of NFT that you're going to see around, and the ones that get the most attention and the ones that actually end up selling and being made into something, that kind of thing. Profile picture NFTs and game NFTs, they tend to have a lot of overlap, where profile picture NFTs will add utility to themselves by promising to develop a game. Now, something you have to watch out for is projects that promise a game, because a lot of the time the game is just not gonna happen, or it's been in development for years. So you really do have to watch the community on these projects. Community is paramount. You have to watch the community, how they're feeling. You have to watch the developers, how the community and the developers are feeling together. Watch interactions and, ask questions, be involved. The number one thing you can do is be involved. Join AMAs, ask questions, get nitty gritty. Don't be afraid to be a little nosy about certain things, because at the end of the day, you took the leap, you took action. It's your investment in that way. But that's pretty much all I've got. These are the three main NFTs around the space right now. I'm sure in the future we'll see more, up and coming types of NFT that are just starting to bud, kind of blossom into something way, way more worth talking about. But for now, these are the primary three that you're really going to need to know about. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, be sure to leave a like and a comment in the comment section below. We read every single one of those, and it's great feedback. Really appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe if you want to be kept up to date on all of our uploads. If you click the notification bell next to the subscribe button, you will get a notification every time we have a new upload, and you'll be kept right in the loop. That's all I've got for you today, and until next time, stay meta.